Hi everyone, today I am here with 2014's ex-housemate Big Brother. That doesn't make sense, but we'll roll with it anyway. He's called Chris Wright and he is here with us now. Hi Chris, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm alright, how are you?
I am very, very good, thank you. So Chris, I'm just going to start. I know that this is a bit weird because it's all like cyberlogical and stuff, but whenever I interview people... Cyberlogical, we'll roll with it. But whenever I interview people, I always like to give them something. So here you have some cookies that you can collect if you ever come to America. There you go. And
listen, you're in Chicago, right?
yes.
So I spent quite a lot of time in Chicago, and I used to always go and buy. They do like fruit cookies. I don't know what you call them, but they're like raisin cookies.
I have no idea. I've only been here like a month.
Get them.
Raisin cookies.
Yeah, they're not called that. It's like oatmeal cookies, basically. They're lovely.
Okay, girl, I'm gonna find them. Anyway, I ordered us a pizza as well that we can eat. So.
I can't reach that from here.
And if you want any water, I've got you sorted as well. So. I've got you cookies, pizza, and water just in case you need anything throughout today.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I got you nothing.
Oh, well, that's fine. You've got me a wonderful smiling face, so that's all I need. Okay, so, first of all, I just want to ask, we've never met before, have we?
No, we've not, no.
Interesting story for you. So, skip back to 2014, when you were going into the house and your VT was playing, you were stood behind the eye and the eye opens. Your music starts and you walk down the catwalk and there's 3 very inconsiderate people shouting off at you, chanting off just before you go into the house.
Was that you, is it?
So it's been a lovely interview, Chris, thank you so much. No, so yes, I was that and then you won over our hearts. I mean, I just didn't like the fact that you said you were going to piss in the kitchen sink, to be honest, but we've moved on from it.
Well, I just put that down to a lack of a sense of humour on your part.
Exactly, what was I saying? I've changed and we warmed to you.
The funny thing about that was when I was doing my VT, the day I recorded it, I was extremely hungover. It was very, very stupid of me, but I wasn't feeling very well. And I was dead certain I wasn't going to say or do anything stupid in my VT, which is what people always do. I wasn't going to big myself up and say I'm this, that and the other and whatever. So I thought I'd just be honest. But I was a little bit dry and a little bit monotone. And in between questions, as far as I was concerned, I was just rattling off nonsense while they weren't shooting. I said, well, you want me to stand here and say stuff like, I'm going to sit in the corner and I'm going to go piss in the sink. And of course...
that got used.
Rolling.
So yeah, anyway, that was your VT and that's all we had to go on, and then you went into the house and you were an amazing housemate. You came 5th, you made some really, really good friendships with Ashley and everyone, and you were in the series where 2 Second Stephen happened. How you slept during all the sex that was going on in their house, I have no idea.
Well, it's pretty unmonumental in there, really. I think that's just TV. I think it's a bit of a non-event, to be honest.
Yeah, but yeah, well, that's just like my sex life, to be honest. It's just a non-event. But moving quickly on, so you obviously, like, people watching this, I'm not going to talk to Chris loads about his series. If you want to watch it, he's done interviews before, watch them. I'm starting to forget what happened. I'm sure he's starting to forget what happened too.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So let's go forward. We're 2017. So you left the house. What happened when you left? What happened with Chris Wright when you left?
Well, I don't know. God, even that's a long time ago. I mean, leaving was weird. It is weird. I think it's different for everyone. But for me, I don't know. Like you genuinely can't wait to get out.
Yeah.
That's a given. Particularly when you've been in there 2.5 months. And particularly when after week 1 you're thinking, I can't wait to get out. So, by that point you are done and you can't wait. Now, the weird thing is, you don't consider is that when you come out, everything is strange because you've got used to the cameras. Yeah, you know they're there, but they're normal to you. So you are uninhibited. You're not thinking about them. You're not thinking about what's behind the camera.
Yeah.
But you have this sort of odd sense of being looked after, so that people are watching you. So when you come out, for me, I remember being at a friend's one night, and just going to the toilet, and I just felt really uncomfortable because in the time it took me to walk from his living room to the toilet, I just felt like I was on my own. I think it was the first time I'd been fully on my own, and it felt really weird. And so I went for sort of a few weeks of actually thinking I'd rather be back in the house.
Really?
Which is strange, as nice as it is. But really, ultimately, those first few months, I think this is true of most people. I'm generalising, but you just spend the whole time partying and going a bit off the rails. You know, it wasn't too crazy. People have done it worse, but I did spend at least, 8 months.
Just having a great time.
Just having a great time, yeah. And then you kind of get a little bit of a lull, and you're like, oh, that's weird. And then it kind of just starts to feel like it never happened. But genuinely, everyone you meet's nice, really, with very, very few exceptions. Everyone's lovely. It's actually a very nice thing, but yeah. So I then kind of started to focus back on work a bit more.
Okay, and obviously we know about Fanged Up with Danielle Harold and Dapper Laughs. Tell us a bit about that, because I love a good vampire film. I do. So tell us a bit about that.
Well, I'll tell you a bit. I don't know how much I can tell you about it because it's early days, but it's a vampire movie in a prison. So it's about a guy played by Dapper Laughs who ends up in prison through various circumstances, and it turns out prison is overrun with vampires, and that's kind of all I can say.
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble. But it's a comedy. It's pretty broad. It's pretty stupid. It's funny. I mean, the script's hilarious. And there are all sorts of familiar faces. It's an interesting casting thing because they've got a lot of people in the cast who are like Viners and stuff like that.
God help us.
Familiar faces, like people who, like in England, the Skills guy and all that lot. I mean, they're all, so there's a combination of all those kind of people, actors, people who are quite long in the tooth, been around a while, done a lot of famous British movies, and people like myself who obviously have been an actor all my life, but have also done things like Big Brothers. There's a weird sort of cross-pollination of people, so it was a crazy set with some interesting characters.
But no, it sounds, and obviously like with diversity and interesting characters, you get a really good plot, so I'm really, really looking forward to see that. Do we know when it's coming out?
No, I'm assuming, and this is a complete assumption on my part, I'm assuming they're aiming for Halloween.
Oh, brilliant.
I don't know that though.
That would make a exceptional launch day. I look forward to that being true, and if it's not, then you're not getting a cookie. Just saying.
Well, it'll be this year.
Well, that's great. Also, to talk about what a lot of you guys want me to ask, are you watching this year's Celebrity Big Brother?
Yeah, I've watched all of them since, and every single time they come up, I'm like, I'm not watching it, I'm not watching it. And then you remember, well, that's basically why 90% of people are even interested in hearing what I've got to say. It's because of Big Brother. So, I am watching it. Don't know, really. I've got mixed feelings on this one, which is better than normal.
Yeah.
Normally I just hate it. But I haven't loved it in years. But I think this is, it's a weird one. You've got a lot of these. So the premise obviously being all-stars, so you've got old, not even that old, some of them, like celeb Big Brother contestants have gone back in, and then there's a few new stars. But I think that all the old stars are so affected by their previous personas, whether they were really popular or unpopular, they're trying to either do the same thing again, or do everything they can to not be the same person again.
See, this is the thing, and that's why you have the case of Austin and the case of and on the opposite side of the spectrum you've got Jasmine, where with Austin obviously he was loved and laid back in the first one, and then when he came back he was off the rails and unstable, and that's obviously was his downfall. And then obviously with Jasmine you've got the same thing where triangle first time and second time she goes in, triangle again. So
it's the old curse though. I think it's years ago when Channel 4 did that, what was it, I don't know what it's called, but they had a load of the old housemates back in. They mixed up the celeb and civilian ones.
Yeah, the Ultimate Big Brother in 2010.
They were all winners, weren't they?
Yeah, it was the Ultimate.
And yeah, it was just a car crash really. And I do think it's probably true, like, the question you get asked most probably is, would you do it again?
Yeah.
And I think truthfully, just because of, it's sort of flattering to the ego, I think most people would say yes, but at the same time, you almost can't you can't really do it twice. I think you'd be so self-conscious.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd be self-conscious anyway, but I think that would be a different kind of self-conscious. I think people go in there with a certain sense of like, well, I'm all right. But when you come out and you know, you fragile egos in there, they hear a couple of negative things. If they went in again, I think that would be playing on their mind.
Yeah. And it is the case of
what to do if I did it again. Do you know what I mean?
It is the case of ignorant bliss, where when you're in there, obviously you've never experienced it before, so you don't know about all the press and stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
As soon as you come out, that's the first thing you look at, the first thing you hear about, how you were perceived and stuff. And I think that's like, all of a sudden you just get brought down to earth of being like, oh my god, all these people are saying stuff about me. So going in again, that is always on your mind, and I think it does play.
You're just thinking about, you have more of a sense of what's going on outside. And I think that, you know, the problem is with these things is that people are sort of, it's a weird thing. I explained it in the house. I was talking to someone in the house at the time saying, oddly, until the last day that we're in here, our lives are actually still normal.
Yeah.
Because you're not exposed to anything outside the house. So we've just come in here from our normal lives and just stayed there.
Yeah.
So all the circus that's going on while you're in there, you are still free of that. So you're still the same person. So when people then see housemates on Twitter and suddenly think, oh, they're a bit egotistical, or they're a bit this, that, and the other. That's because that's when the fame bit comes in, or the idea of fame. And I think that because the person you like on the TV is still that actual person, and not everyone's bad for it. Everyone has a little, you know, it is a little bit, you know, an ego boost. And Twitter's awful for being misread, but that's why there's a difference, I think, because your first time around you're seeing an unfamous person. I mean, famous, infamous.
Yeah.
And the second time you're seeing someone who has been affected by that, and like you say, it's just too self-conscious. But there's something interesting in a way about that too, psychologically. So it is kind of interesting. Like, I found Austin quite interesting. I like Austin a lot, even after this series. I just think he's had a bit of a rough time, and I think he responds to a certain type of person that just wasn't in there.
Yeah, exactly. So that we didn't have the James Hill this time, and we didn't have the bromance effect that obviously worked so well in his favour last time. So
I love Kim Woodburn.
You love Kim?
Love Kim.
Okay.
You wouldn't think so, but I love Kim.
Can I ask why? Why do you love Kim?
I think what it is, because I've asked myself that question. I think she's ridiculous, obviously, but I think it's basically because I don't really like any of the people in the house very much, and I kind of think they not only deserve to be screeched at, what she's actually saying, if you just put it on paper, she's dead on the money on all of them. She's actually correct. She hasn't said anything that's false.
Exactly.
It's just the way she does it. It's ridiculous and totally inappropriate, and you know, and should be mocked. But they all need that. They don't want it, but they kind of need it. And I think she's done the series a world of good. I don't want to see her go. She shouldn't win it. I mean, if she was carrying on like that every day, which she hasn't been, I think she'll go quieter and quieter, to be honest. She'll get attacked a lot, but I think she'll stay quite quiet. I could be wrong. But I think that it's cool to keep her there, but you know, she shouldn't win it for that. And she shouldn't eat up all the screen time, but equally, not really a fan of anyone in there.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you. Obviously, we've said goodbye to Brandon, Ray J, Angie, Austin, Jasmine, James, and Chloe. Were any of them? Were you sad to see any of them go?
I was, well, not sad, but Brandon I liked him as a guy, but I could see that I think he genuinely wanted to go. I think fair enough, and respect to him as well, because he shouldn't really be there necessarily. So not so much that I'm sorry to see him go, I'm just sorry that he felt he had to go, because it can be really tense and uncomfortable, and people are really moronic in there. Like, we start to normalise it and think that's like a normal level of intelligence. It's not.
Yeah.
There's some dumb people in there. So I felt a bit sorry to see him go. So who else went?
James J went recently.
Oh, I love James Jordan, but now I hated him the first time. Not hated him, I had a lot of opinions on it.
Yeah, me too.
I was very vocal about it. I had the opportunity later on. I met him, and he was so lovely, genuinely so lovely. Him and Ola, and I said to him straight away, look, and I was with Ashley actually, and we both said, oh God, we were quite rude about you on Twitter, and he was just laughing. And And he's like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. I think he totally gets it, and he's a nice guy, and you can tell people in house liked him too.
Yeah.
And I think his whole thing is just, and he's very candid about it. It's just to be a bit of a prick and wind people up. And
exactly.
Yeah, he'd annoy me if I was in there, for sure he would. But he's a nice guy, and I was a little bit sorry. I think he went a little bit prematurely.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think this time he didn't have that arch nemesis that he had the first time, which is why he's coming off a lot softer and a lot more like a joke, because when it's one-on-one it looks a lot more sinister, whereas because it's just he's got everyone to play with this time, it looks a lot more jokey, and I think that's where it's
But again, even I think he was, even though he did approach it the same way and he said so, I still think even then it was like this little sense of trying to kind of be that character.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's no real target for him to be that character.
Exactly.
Because they're all going in very softy-softy.
Mm-hmm.
They're all playing it really cagey, you know, at the start. That's why Kim coming in and doing their job was hilarious. So James C, I'd like to see him win it as it is. Because I think he's, not just because it's a sort of standard thing for me to do, the sci-fi, the sort of, you know, quiet, thoughtful one or whatever, but I just think he actually is an interesting character, very misunderstood, and he's getting the brunt, as he always was going to, because Big Brother was setting scenarios up where he has to be the bad guy. Like, whatever he did the other day, picking that Eternal nomination, he would have got it in the neck from whoever.
Yeah.
I've generally preferred Spidey this time. I love Heidi, but Spencer's is a prat.
He's a prat, he is.
He's actually a prat. and I like him. I like him more than they did before, but now he's so bratish, and like the way he's handled James nominations is actually kind of obscene and just a bit embarrassing. So I think I couldn't really give a stuff if they stay on or not now. I think it's kind of beyond a joke really with him.
Yeah, and I do think that obviously when James was in there, James J, I'm on about him, he had a playmate, he had a sparring partner, and I think that made him come off a lot better, but now James Jordan's gone, I feel like Spencer's a little bit lost.
He is, totally, and he's trying to just kind of get back in that position he wants to be in, like get back in the saddle, and I think that he's just using James C as a means to do that, and yet ironically everything's accusing James C of doing is giving him what he wants from the show.
Yeah.
And so it was a perfect choice, and for them, you know, it's done Spidey good, but he doesn't need to be that much of a prick about it.
Exactly. And the thing is, last year they were up every time anyway, so it's not much different.
They need it. They want that.
Exactly. They want the booze. They want the controversy. They want to have as many headlines about them as possible. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go down all of the existing housemates, and I just want you to give me one word of what you think or what you think of them.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, so, Kim.
Love.
Okay, Jessica.
Disappointing.
Ooh. Jedward, John and Edward, Jedward.
Awesome.
Awesome, yes! Oh my god, it's Stacey!
Lame.
Okay, Nicole / Nicola.
Twat.
Ooh, Jamie.
Dunce.
Dunce, okay, James C.
Hero.
Spidey.
Messy.
Okay. Colleen, the loose women that we all know and love.
Beige.
I'd agree with that. So, Callum?
Overrated.
Okay, well, okay. And finally, Bianca. Or Bonka, whatever you want to call her.
God, plain yogurt.
Plain yogurt? Is it low fat though? That's the question. That's a question for you, Angie Best. Is it low fat yogurt?
I don't know. I think she's clearly nice. I think she was super the first week, but she's been a bit of a sucker. I get a feeling she's just a bit. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit cagey about giving too strong of an opinion on her because I think she seems like a really decent girl. But
Yeah.
Don't know. nothing really special, is it? It's a bit of a Callum thing. It's like that personality in any other body,
yeah,
wouldn't even get in there.
Exactly. Do you think it is the case of the beauty kind of shadows the personality?
Massive. Well, no, I just don't think there is one to shadow. I think what happens is, this is a bit of an, I just think if you're, I don't know, it's hard for her. It's hard for both of them because they're both obviously not siblings, they're offspring of famous people, both in the sports world and stuff. So it's a bit hard. But if you're told you're brilliant and beautiful and great when you're a kid, particularly beautiful, I think it just affects how you grow up, and you don't necessarily take the time to form a personality. You can get away with a lot of shortcuts.
Okay.
And Callum's just read the book on how to be a man, as in how your basic manners. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think he's all that charming at all. I think he's just very all surface, no feeling really.
Yeah.
And with her, I do feel like there is a lot of feeling. I think she's got quite a lot of depth. Perhaps she's not particularly interesting, but I think she's going to be a bit of a sucker in love, and I think that's pretty plain.
Okay.
Or hopefully she's just playing that guy, whatever his name is. I forgot his name.
Jamie.
So he's awful. Anyway.
Do you think that there will be some sort of romance/showmance between Bianca and Jamie?
Yeah, for as long as the the magazines were interested. I don't think it will last beyond that. I think that's just a given.
Okay. So do you think there is any genuine feelings between them?
I don't think it's my place to say, but I will. No.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I was like, oh, come on, Chris, don't be shy with us now. So who is your winner as of this point?
James C.
James C.
And if it's not James C, Jedward.
Ooh, that's a really good point. They're my winners, just saying, because Jedward.
Well, they're great. I've always loved them. I've never had a problem with Jedward.
Yeah.
And I think people. It's very easy to dismiss them. They don't make it difficult, do they?
No, they don't.
They're totally unique. Yeah, I don't want people so surprised going, oh, they're not actually as sweet as they seem. It's like, who actually is like Jedward? No one's like Jedward, of course. Even Jedward aren't like Jedward.
Yeah.
That's just their thing. But that's no more of a persona than, Nicole's, kind of like sensible mumsy thing.
Yeah.
That's all affectation. And so Jedward just got big hair and the silly, and the twins, it's just double, it's always one Jedward in every year. Do you know what I mean? So there's just two of them whenever they're there.
Exactly.
It just seems doubly crazy.
And to be honest, I think that they are being themselves, and that's something that people seem to be shitting on slightly, for want of a better phrase, because they're all being really, really self-conscious, and Jedward's just come in with they've got no fears and no qualms about doing anything, and everybody's just a little bit up.
But they're nice. They don't. I mean, a lot of people go, they're malicious. Of course they're not. As soon as someone's nice, everyone just tries to overcompensate by saying, well, if they can't be that nice, they must be evil. It's like, well, why is it one or the other? For example, the other day, everyone was going in on James C. It was going to happen. It was always going to happen because they suddenly think, oh God, Granddad's actually, Satan. There's all this logic in there. And the only two people who actually sat outside talking to him and giving him the time of day were Jedward.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaks volumes.
And that's the same with Kim as well. Jedward's giving Kim the time of day. And so I do think that it is a case of that there is a split in the house with Kim, Jedward and James C. Maybe Bianca slightly, but then obviously you've got Bianca, Nicola and it's such a boring series, I've forgotten the names.
It is really.
You've got Bianca, Callum, and then obviously you've kind of got Colleen by herself. Do you think she's been overshadowed slightly by all the big characters?
I don't know, she seems to manage to be... I don't know quite how she does it, and all the Nolans seem to manage this, because they're all pretty unremarkable. They seem to manage to be front and centre. Now, my instinct always says, oh, I like them, because, to be honest, definitely, there's no question about it. If you met her, you just think she was lovely.
Yeah.
It's just like any one of your mates' mums, she's nice, and she'll definitely be nice for that purpose, do you know what I mean? But when you put someone like that in that situation, you also forget that she has been in the business for years, and the same with her sister. Who's that woman who's in the gym? what was her name?
Oh,
The other Nolan.
Linda Nolan.
Yeah, because I wanted desperately to, like, I wanted to desperately like her.
Yeah.
And she just, by the end of it, I just thought,
she couldn't let go of grudge, I think. There was a big grudge about Frank Carson's dressing room. Look it up.
Still
But
the best moment ever.
I just love that was trending on Twitter at one point. # Frank Carson's dressing room. What happened? We don't know.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't know, they got this kind of weird thing. I don't know. But like I said, I don't know if they're responding any worse than anyone else's mum. I don't know. But then Colleen does have this sort of thing where she gets too involved and and I do sometimes think, like when she was saying, like, Callum's not interested in any of us, I was thinking, is there a little part of me just thinking, are you seeing this like we're seeing it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Are you thinking, are you trying to sort of say, like, also trying to say hands off? Like,
exactly, it's like he's not interested in you, he wants a mummy, like, Colleen, babe, Colleen. I know there's trouble at home, but let's not, babe, let's not. So, moving on to a little bit, let's talk about your wonderful business that you've started that I'm obsessed with. I've been following it for quite a while, and it's called Drawing with My Biro, and it is amazing.
Thank you.
If I may say so. It's.
You may.
I mean, how do you do it? Do you have a picture in front of you? How do you envision it and get it down onto paper?
It depends what I'm doing. Like, so when I started doing it, so like a lot of people, I used to draw a lot when I was younger. So I drew a lot. So I loved art and did all that. And then sort of after school and through college or whatever, I didn't really do it. Occasionally I'd paint and stuff, but I never really sort of, I don't know, it's always too time consuming, whatever. And then one day I was just doodling with a biro, and I was like, that's how I used to draw, like, in my, like, books at school and stuff, I'd always draw. So I was like, that's how I like to draw, maybe that's what I should be drawing with. So I just started doodling, and then it all just came out of me like a tidal wave, like all these years of not doing it, I was suddenly just like, couldn't stop drawing. So with those kind of drawings, the stuff I'm just drawing for myself, just from my imagination, I am just picking up a pen and going for it. Obviously being biro, you can't rub out, you can't start again.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I enjoy it. Because it's slightly terrifying. But with portraits, and people ask me to draw their dogs and their grannies and things.
At the same time?
At the same time, yeah, people do like that. They like pictures of their granny riding a dog.
Yeah. Or I'm doing like a little morph. Do you know, like those little morphs that they do? Picture of my granny on the face of a dog.
There you go. I wish people would ask for that. Yeah, but that sort of stuff, that takes a long, long time, because you are working for photographs and you're trying to do photorealistic. Not photorealistic. You're trying to just do realistic. It's realism. But like at the same time, I like artwork to look like artwork, so I kind of like the biro to look like pencil. So it's not. I'm not trying to fool anyone, but I want it to be a talking point at the same time, because it's real, but it's not. And it's it. So yeah, I don't know. So I've just been doing it for years now, like just on the side really, and it's been great. It's lovely. It's hard work. It takes a long time, but it's perfect for an actor because there's a lot of downtime and there's a lot of time hanging around. So
yeah.
It's good. I'd like to do a bit more for my own pleasure.
Okay, so if people want to see your artwork, where can they go to see it?
Well, they can go to brawlingwithmybiro.co.uk or just facebook.com/brawlingwithmybiro.
Okay, cool. So I will also put the links in the chat bar over there for you guys watching live, and I will put it in the description box for everybody watching on YouTube. Make sure you check it out, it's amazing, it completes my life. Just make sure you check it out. But yeah, so obviously we've spoken about Big Brother, we've spoken about Running with a Biro, we've spoken about Fanged Up. What's the future for Mr. Chris R. Wright?
Well, I don't know. There's a film supposed to be happening later in the year. I don't know when. That's another horror feature.
Okay.
I think it's a horror comedy. That's supposed to be happening. I've made a short film. I shot a short film. I finished it last year, basically. That will be going public at some point online. I don't know when. That's all a bit uncertain at the moment. But so I directed a film. I wrote and directed a film, basically. I'm not in it, but that's ready. But I don't know when that's going to go up online. But that'll be in the next. I'm hoping in the next month. But sort of
okay.
On a few things.
Can you tell us a bit about that, or is that all under wraps?
No, I can tell you about that. It is a short film, so I can't tell you too much because otherwise there's no point watching it. But it's not a comedy. It's quite dark. I call it a romantic horror, but it's not strictly a horror. It's more of a sort of mood piece. It's a bit experimental. It's a bit of an art house film. I've just wanted to dip my toe into directing a bit because I've always wanted to direct, but I just thought I'd try small scale and do something. So it's just two characters, basically a young couple at home, and it all goes a bit weird. That's pretty much all I can say.
Okay.
But it's quite dark, and it is strange, which is how I like it. But it's not going to be for everyone, but.
I mean, it sounds amazing. I love things that are strange because that's just what I am. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Can you tell us the name of it?
It's called The Water Boatman.
The Water Boatman. Check it. Keep your eyes peeled for it to be.
Excuse me.
Keep your eyes for it to be posted, and I'm pretty sure Chris will post it on his Twitter. So check it out on there, and just keep your eyes peeled. Watch this space. So yeah, other than that, any more future events?
Nothing at the moment. Nothing. I'm writing a feature, but that's really early days. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably
doing lots more things. I just don't ever remember.
He's probably doing it all. He's running for president in 2020.
I may as well. Yeah. I have literally. I am the worst self-promoter you can find. Even if I do remember what I'm doing, I'm like, well, you don't have to check it out, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's alright.
That's pretty much like me as well. I'm just like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's probably not up your street. Everyone go watch it. Watch whatever he's in. He's awesome. So I feel like this has been a really good interview. The first time I saw you, I was chanting off, and now I'm saying, please don't go. Have a cookie. I've got cookies.
Well, yes. Did you offer me the cookies before you told me about the booing?
I did. That was just literally like just sweeten this up and then everything will be better. No, it's all panto. But yeah, so thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you for asking. I hope it's not boring.
It wasn't boring. You literally look like a floating head. It's great. And I look forward to seeing what is in the future of Mr. Chris R. Wright. Maybe he'll add another like letter to his middle name. Who knows?
I'm just thinking about it. Yeah.
Chris R. Royal. Q for what else? We'll find out.
Chris Toys. Chris Toys are.
Oh yes, Chris Toys are right. There's one for the English viewers. The American ones probably won't get it. Do
they not have Toys R Us in America?
I've never seen one. Let me know in the chat. Do you have Toys R Us? But yeah, thank you so much. This will be going live on YouTube after it's been broadcast here. So check it out on YouTube. The link will be in the chat bar as well. Thank you so much, Chris. I wish you the best, and you guys, thank you so much for watching and keeping the comments coming, and I will see you all very, very soon.